You have a party that not just, you talk about the Belrose Doctrine. Affirmative action was approved and passed at a convention of the Labour Party. And if you want to now, when somebody says that kind of nonsense to you, you have to ask yourself, is there evidence to suggest that this government, led by me right now, has in any way discriminated against opposition seats?
But Mr. Prime Minister, this is, sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, but this is the impression, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, but this is the impression we got from Ms. Belrose's statement, that if you do not buy into the policies of the government, basically, well, you know, we are moving on, we're not going to be servicing you, and this is the impression that we were left with.
The United Workers' Party's manifesto, because that's what it is, the manifesto, which was up on a referendum, and the vast majority of people in St. Lucia approved the referendum. Not everybody did. There are 6 constituencies that the majority of people did not approve the manifesto of the United Workers' Party. What she's saying is that we're moving on with our plans. It's not a discrimination of anyone. And you all should know that. Look at the work that's taken place in Vieux-Fort South, with roads, with water projects, with ITEL BPO and Ojo Labs, the improvement in the airports, the improvement of all the port facilities, improvement in schools. None of the schools have been discriminated. How many schools have we repaired in Castries East? How many schools have we repaired in Dennery North? And how many schools have we repaired in Laborie? All throughout this country. Nobody's been discriminated. When we build roads, everybody gets to use the roads. When we fix up healthcare facilities, everybody gets to use them. So that's absurd. And I think that the other part of the question you were asking was I was asking the question. Given that Philip Pierre is the self-proclaimed Deputy Prime Minister of the country and has held the portfolios of tourism, infrastructure, and of commerce, should Marcia be in the condition it is? And Stanley, you should be ashamed of yourself, honestly, to even suggest that Sir John in any way neglected his constituency. Come and see the roads this man built, the water that this man built, community centers and health centers. And I have now come in to do what? To modernize those facilities. Wow. If you come and see the amount of people that benefited from United Workers' Party's policy, why did they call it green gold? Look at the number of homes that are built in the constituency. So I think that that's very unfair and very biased, I have to say to you. And I have to agree with Charlie. Sometimes I really wonder as whose agenda that you're really on when you'll be able to speak this. But you are free to speak what you want to speak. But call it what it is.
That's a lot, Prime Minister. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Mr. Prime Minister, I'm sorry, Mr. Prime Minister. You know we're running out of time, so we appreciate the call. But if I can just ask you, just to basically, are you saying then that when Ms. Belrose made that statement, that's not what she meant to say? That if people don't buy into the policies and programs of a particular government, that they are being sidelined? You're saying that's not what she meant to say?
But you have to ask yourself and understand what she says. Is there any evidence that the United Workers' Party under this government right now has discriminated against any of the constituencies?
So why, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, so why make a statement like that?
Because what she is indicating is that she doesn't have a role. She is not the elected candidate, the candidate. And what she was saying is that Castries East did not select and support the manifesto and the policies of United Workers' Party. But what she's going to do is she stayed on the ground and trying to convince them that this is the right party to support. And I honestly believe that she will prevail this time, because the people in Castries East now can see the work that's taking place in Soufriere, see the work that's taking place in Dennery South, see the work that's taking place in Ancillary Canneries, and want to have a rep with that kind of vision. Mindu Philip Park and Marcia Grounds, why are they still in the condition they're in? He certainly had the ability all those years to have shown his vision, and that's my problem with the Labour Party. They're very good at talking about things, but they cannot do things. They cannot come 20 years later and say, oh, we started this. Or this, we had this idea. You had the time to implement them. Time has passed through now. The Labour Party needs to reinvent itself. That's what it needs.
Mr. Prime Minister, in all fairness, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry to disturb you. In all fairness, I think we need to allow Stanley to respond to some of your statements. Stanley?
A couple of them, Andre. Sure. And first of all, I do not think to make it appear like Marcia or Castries East is the only rundown, if you want it. You know, people are very careful with those things. And part of Castries would be a misrepresentation. You just go throughout whatever surrounds the city is run down. He's not the one representing all of the city. I'm not here to defend him and to defend his record, but it speaks clearly that most of the areas surrounding Castries, we know, are in need of serious, serious attention, and Masha is not the only one.